Did you think you were networking?
No. I literally cried in that appointment with her. That's one of my first networking experiences, just crying in my current supervisor's office.
You still got the job.
I still got the job.
So are you convinced that it's useful to network?
I would say so, yeah. Is that convincing?
I don't know. Not really.
I don't get why networking is important. I kind of do because I work at the Career Center. But even then, like, we'll do our trainings and they'll be like, here's why. And I'll be like, yeah, okay.
But really? But
like,
do I have to?
Wink. Do I have to do this thing and talk to strangers? You're listening to Work in Progress, a podcast that helps you understand and navigate the world of work. Work in Progress is a podcast that belongs to the Teej FM network. That's TEEJ.FM. Tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and on the UVA Career Center website. For more resources, follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook and Instagram. I'm your host, Jessie, and I'm a career peer educator and a UVA student.
And I'm your host, Kate, and I'm a career counselor at the UVA Career Center. This week on Work in Progress, we talk networking.
It's story time.
I love stories.
I hope you do, because it's story time.
Yes.
What was your first job?
My first job, technically, was working in the ski rental shop at Wintergreen, and I got that from a friend.
Really?
Mm-hmm. One of my friends was working there, and she had already gotten promoted, and so she got to do basket rental instead of ski boot cleaning, which I, of course, started in ski boot cleaning.
Yeah.
It smelled so bad. And I messed up my time card like every week because I couldn't use the machine properly. But it was good. I mean, I got it because of friends, and I had friends who worked there, and it made it fun. And so I worked there over Christmas break from college, first 2 years.
So how did you get this job? Can we talk about
In the
that?
Career Center?
Yeah.
We can't talk about that. So when I was in graduate school, it was 2009. The economy was garbage, and there were just no jobs in Charlottesville. No jobs. None. And then somebody who was in the PhD program with me, I was a master's student, called and said, we're going to have a going away party for one of the professors. Do you want to come to lunch? So I went. We were sitting at lunch, and she said, 3 people just left the Career Center. You need to call them right now. And so I did. I called, and I said, here, you have some openings. And somebody who had the job posted just said, the job will be posted tomorrow, but please just send me your resume now.
Oh.
Hidden job market.
So what is the hidden job market?
So most jobs are not posted on the internet. A lot of people get jobs through talking to others, through networks. A lot of people get jobs just by being at the right place at the right time, but that's not really helpful because you can't plan any of that. So that's why I want to talk about networking.
So what is networking then?
You're marketing yourself. In order for people to know what you're like, you have to tell them. I think the word networking is the tricky part. It feels competitive. It feels like I have to build this web.
That's like so
contacts.
much better than the other applicants.
I have to accumulate them. And so it's certainly not about the number of contacts that you have. It's about your willingness to reach out to them and maintain relationships. It's just making new professional friends. And so there are 2 different aspects to networking that tend to apply to college students. One is to just get more information. And that's really just trying to figure out, where are my skills valuable? Where can I use some of my interests in social issues or some of the things I've been learning about in college? Just very, very broad questions. The other has to do with trying to get closer in to an organization or an industry that's hard to break into. Just so that we're clear, this is not something that's specific to the business world. It doesn't matter what industry you're interested in. This matters so much. The other reason why it's important is that there is a hidden job market. Not everything is posted online, and even the things that are posted online might not be entirely accurate, and so you sometimes need to go out and get more information. So are you convinced now that it's important to network?
Yeah, because can I just aside, this is a really difficult episode as a student, talking about networking. But I think the point particularly about the hidden job market is really important, and I hadn't considered that. And then also, too, one thing that really spoke to me was how you can build your own skills from that and like what it looks like to engage with people you might not typically talk to or work with.
My heart is warm. So in our next segment, we're going to play a little game.
Ooh.
When you're networking, you never know who the person's going to be, what's going to be uncovered, and what tools you're going to have to use in that moment. And so we're going to talk about some scenarios and what you might need to do in these different situations.
Okay, that sounds great.
Are you ready?
Yes.
It's Global Week, and Chemonics, an international development organization, is doing a panel in the Career Center. And you need to approach one of the panelists with a question because you really liked what they had to say. How would you network with them?
Okay, so hopefully I was taking notes during it or just paying attention. So reflect on that after and kind of be like, okay, what am I interested about what they said? What is a specific question I can draw from this? Because you don't want to go up and just be like, hey, that was like so good. And be like, yay, networked, like did it. But instead of being like, okay, I was really interested in this point they made about like company culture, maybe I could just ask about what that has looked like for them in more detail. Like it can be that simple. Like I was interested, you said this, can you just talk about that a little bit more? Then just seeing where the conversation goes. I think the episode we had earlier about career fairs and how you'd approach that, I think it's really similar, where you start with sort of this initial question and then just see where the conversation goes. Keep in mind your goal for that conversation, and towards the end, have some sort of like future follow-up. So get their email, get their phone number, and just briefly say something like, I'd be really interested in talking more about this. Like, could I reach out to you by phone or email and see what they say? Just to build longevity.
I think that's a great point. I think following up is really important. Just sending a quick email, maybe mentioning one of the things that you talked about, making sure that if you say you're going to follow up, really doing it is helpful. Asking if they would like to connect on LinkedIn. There's even a feature where you can find all the people who are near you.
Really?
On LinkedIn. So if I had it open right now, I would see all of your profiles and we could connect that
way.
way.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
That's horrifying.
So it depends on how masterful you want to be. In any case, follow up. That's extremely important. Okay, next one. A UVA alum of the English department who works as a film producer, who's on the Virginia Alumni Mentoring Platform, and you want to ask them about your internship application for NBC Universal. What do you do?
Okay, this is actually a great example because I've already used the Virginia Alumni Mentoring Platform. Virginia Alumni Mentoring, or VAM, is really easy to connect to people. You press the Let's Connect button with this person, and then you can sort of pick from three options. One is sending a quick message. One is establishing a semester-long mentorship, and the other is a phone call. And it actually gives you a template for like how you could possibly introduce yourself. So what I would do is use that little messaging platform, look at the template, and then just include like, hi, my name is Jessie. I'm an English major. I'm really interested in getting into film and film production. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like. I'm really interested in the work that you've done with that organization, and I'd love to hear more from you about your own experiences. Would it be possible to set up a time to have a phone call over the next few weeks? Just let me know what works best for you. These are some days that look good for me. Thank you so much for your time. Let me know what you think, Jessie.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So basically what you just outlined is a formula that I would definitely recommend to any student who's reaching out through a virtual platform, whether it's Virginia Alumni Mentoring, LinkedIn, any other system that you might be using. You want to start with a little bit about yourself, say who you are so you don't seem creepy, a little bit about the fact that you're a student and where you are in your process, whether it's internship, just exploring, or you're about to graduate. Some sort of compliment. I'm interested in your career, or I appreciate that you were in the same major as me and you've obviously been very successful. Some kind of call to action. So what exactly do you want from them? Would you like a phone call? Would you like them to answer some questions via email? Would you like them to tell you about their internship program? And then gratitude, which you did an excellent job with, of course.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, last one. So this one's a little bit more about follow-up. So you see a job posted online and you're really, really excited about it. And then you remember that you did an informational interview with someone working there 2 years ago. And you don't know what to do, but you're so excited about the job. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm at a loss. I really don't know what you do. Because I don't want to reach back out and be like, LOL, would love a job with you. Also remember when we talked 2 years ago. That was fun.
Why? Why can't you do that?
The leech thing. Like, it always goes back to the
It's been 2 years. How are you leeching?
It just seems like you're, like, only talking to them when you need something.
It's opportunistic. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Just like, LOL, love this super intimate relationship that we built where we haven't talked at all, and I've only reached out when there is some sort of professional gain for me.
So think about it this way. It would be a lot more awkward if you contacted them every week and gave them updates on what you're eating right now and, hey, I just made my new class schedule. That's awkward. Using a networking website like LinkedIn to tell people that you're interested in a job at their company is extremely normal. It's just that you haven't done it yet.
Okay.
And it's going to be very normal. So a couple of thoughts about how to bridge the gap would be to use LinkedIn or other social media to your benefit. So you can actually post content and you can have a news feed full of information all about whatever it is you're interested in. So what's a company you'd love to work for someday?
I think Brookings Institute would be a cool opportunity.
A nonpartisan think tank.
Correct.
Okay. So let's say you're super into this nonpartisan think tank and you talked to somebody there 2 years ago because they were on grounds or because they were in VAM. And then in the meantime, after you had the conversation, go follow Brookings on LinkedIn and follow that person and maybe comment on the things that they're saying on LinkedIn sometimes when it feels relevant or when you're interested in what they've said. Not everything has to be a one-to-one conversation or you forcibly creating content just to have an excuse to talk to them. Mm-hmm. There are passive ways for you to let people know, hey, I'm really interested in this topic. I'm engaged in this professional material. If you're posting content on LinkedIn, then that shows also that you're staying aware of news and current events, which in this particular case would be really important to show that you have knowledge and motivation to want to work in that field. So I think there are passive ways that you can also kind of maintain a relationship, but know that if you're connected through a system, it's perfectly okay for you to get back in touch with someone. And that's why they're on a networking website. They would not make the choice to do that if they didn't want to be on a networking website. So just try to remember that.
So what would an email to this person look like?
So I would do a very brief catch-up and keep it high energy, keep it very positive. I don't know if you remember me, but we talked 2 years ago, and it really inspired me, and I've really been keeping close tabs on what's available at your company since then. Hey, thank you.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, so thank them for that last conversation. And then show that it had some sort of result. Show them that they made an impact on you, and it will help them feel good too.
That's really good advice.
I just convinced you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Okay. I don't know if you saw me be like, okay, I see. Just because then it takes away the leech component because it's like saying like you directly impacted why I'm reaching out again. Like I've not forgotten about our conversation or our interview. As a human being, I think that's nice to think about, and I hope if I'm an alumni someday and I graduate.
It's like closing the loop and letting that person know that thing that happened actually made an impact on you, even if you never get the job.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's still helpful.
It's just so full circle, which is what I like. So I have been convinced.
Okay.
I feel like that's all this podcast has been is you legitimately trying to convince me why networking is a thing. And here I am.
And here you are. But that's what we do. I mean, that's a lot of what we're trying to do for students is to show things that you've never experienced before, how they might add value to someone's life, help you get a position so that you can contribute to the world and be the person that you came to college to be.
Yeah. I think for networking, it just always feels like you're like stepping on them to get higher. But I think with how you've described it, as long as you're mindful of how you're engaging with people and why, you can like bring other people up with you, or you don't even have to push someone down to be lifted up. It doesn't have to be that, and it shouldn't be that. And I think a lot of students think it has to be that.
Drop your mic.
Thank you. Yay.
That was good. That was good.
Ahem. 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 Work in Progress is a podcast by the UVA Career Center, Teej FM, and WTJU. I'm your host, Jessie, and my co-host is Kate. Work in Progress is produced by Mary Garner McGee. Our music is from Blue Dot Sessions. Follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our website at career.virginia.edu.